goat production for a number of years. I know for sure that you are being respected and looked up to by many other persons, including myself. But we have here a student and a potential goat farmer. Would you recommend him to go into goat farming and why?
Alright, you see, the beauty about goat farming is that you can use forages, bush, and feed your goat them. That don't cost you any money, you know. You can use bush and feed them and them look good. And guess what? At the end of the day, 6 months or 1 year, you can sell them. You don't need to buy the most expensive goat. You can buy a goat for $60,000, a little ordinary goat, which is what I promote. And 1 year down the line, a matter to your numbers, you have money in the bank. You can't want anything better than that. The thing is, do you have access to the free feeding? Do you have access to land? Those are the questions you have to ask yourself, you know. But look here, this is my little garage in the back, and I have this goat farm for the past 20 years. I would say over the years, maybe 60 to 70% of my feed is from external, not buying bag feed in other words. Yeah. And I have still been able to maintain some amount of goat production. I probably feed maybe 20 to 30% bag feed in here.
All right, so
that's probably what I feed here.
What really happened? So we are welcoming persons from Langston University because where we think we are going short is really knowing what these feed contains.
Correct.
And when we have have persons like these to test and tell us that this feed actually contains this, so we definitely know what to give our animals to fulfill their nutrient requirements. So these are some of the things that even crop farmers now are moving towards. They're doing soil testing, so they know what the soil contains, so they know exactly what to put in. So it's utilizing what you have, but utilizing it economically.
Right. And you see, one of the things is also, when you're feeding the goats, it's always best to keep the feeding program consistent. It's very important because every time you change, so let's say you're feeding, you know, say you're feeding mango limb and, you know, 3 different forages and grass. And then 1 month time, you change that forage and you start to feed something else. And then you might change another month and you start to feed, you know, grains and you keep changing. Every time you change that feed, the goat lose a little because, you know, they have to create the bacteria and the medium within the ruminants to process these forages and these things. So you need to keep it, especially for milking animals, you need to keep the forages consistent as much as possible that you're feeding out.
What I do agree with you, but here in Jamaica there are seasons.
Yes.
So what we actually need to do is have that gradual change.
Change.
Just not that sudden change.
Right.
Because we are basically making use of what we have here. And we do have seasons. I see you use a lot of mango when mango season.
Apple. All of these fruits are very important because
so it's for us as farmers to understand these seasons and know when they are coming to an end and gradually change. Not
a drastic change. You gradually change it into the different feed. Even when you changing your grains, you know.
Yes, man.
You have to gradually change it from one supplier to the other supplier. Very important because if you do a sudden change, sometimes you see diarrhea, sometimes you see withdrawal, you see different things happening. It's very important. So, good afternoon. Today we have the privilege of Rada within us today, and we have somebody here from, you know, you can introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Arthur Goach. I previously was with Langston University, the American Institute for Goat Research, and have been involved in a number of the projects between Langston and RADA and CASE in Jamaica.
So a lot of people might not know, but there is a collaboration between Langston University and CASE, where they are doing some research, seeing what's happening here in Jamaica in terms of our tropical forages and the forages we feed, and also with the goats. That's correct, right?
Yes.
Right. So I think even on this trip, I heard that they are even collecting some samples. Samples of what? What exactly they're doing?
Various local feedstuffs that are available and being analyzed for nutritive value.
Right. So what has actually happened some time ago, they actually collected some of the forages that exist that we use and feed the goats here in Jamaica, and it was sent abroad, and they did analysis of the different, proteins and, all the fibers and whatever exists in these forages that we are using here in Jamaica to feed our animals. So RADA is a big part of this, and this young gentleman will introduce himself.
So I am Morris Anderson, and I'm actually the livestock officer for Kingston and St. Andrews. So we normally work with these persons from Langston University. We help to bring them around to some of our farmers that are really active, and so that they can actually get a feel of the different areas and what these farmers do in improvising and what to build their animals generally.
So recently I was, people chose me, and I am now the second vice president of the Jamaica Agricultural Society, Kingston and St. Andrews. So I represent, well, it's not just goat farmers anymore. So we represent both goat, sheep, rabbits, small ruminants in general. And I am the representative of Kingston and St. Andrews, and even plants. So, I have to learn a lot from these guys and, know more about the different plants. Even though I do know a lot about the forages that the goats eat, but now I'm going to learn, more things about the crop production and all of this. And I don't know, we have two other RADA people here, I don't know.
Yes, Michael Baker.
Michael Baker, and you're?
Extension officer.
So you're an extension officer. What is an extension officer?
So basically, an extension officer focus on both crops and livestock.
Crops and livestock.
In the field,
right.
do observation and.
So you're like a field officer then? You drive around from there. So you're supposed to visit me all the time then?
Yes.
All right, boss. And you?
My name is Deniki Edwards, an intern from Case.
Oh, you're an intern from Case?
Yes.
Right. So one of the persons who involved with some of this research and learning things from, so they are collaborating and learning things from each other. Because, we were recently having some conversation. I'm talking to some guys from Nigeria and crops and so forth. And, a lot of people in Jamaica keep telling me, oh, we need to plant alfalfa. And I'm saying, but alfalfa is really a cold country kind of, I don't know, but I don't know if you want to tell me about alfalfa, because some people in Jamaica want to bring alfalfa here, and my personal view is that I think we need to concentrate on our local forages. That's my take, but you can comment on it.
No, I guess I would agree with that. I think you know much more about your local forages because you've been using them for years and years and years, so I cannot disagree with that.
All right, so this is my farm in Kingston and my work. You might hear the roosters and the chicken in the background. And one of the things that I do, I use chicken. I have common fowls always on my farm, and they are roaming everywhere. And they keep under the pen clean. Like any insects or anything, they'll clean up the insects. And I was just explaining that mango is one of my main forages that I use, a lot of mango limb. And the reason for that is not because I particularly love mango, but in Kingston, people chop down their mango trees all the time. And I just send, whenever they chop down the trees, I just send and collect these mango trees. Especially at this time, I'm collecting truckloads and truckloads of mango. And what I do with it, I set it down. It is now drying like this. I think sometimes the goat prefer it when it is dry. So these leaves are dried, and when they're dry, they drop off. And when they drop off, we bag them up in feed bags, and we put it down and preserve it. Right? Also, we feed it directly like this, and we also give it to them green. But this is when we have a lot of it, we actually, that's what we do with, and it's not just mangoes. We have mangoes, we have a lot of other fruit trees, especially in Kingston. And we collect all of this and not ensile, but and preserve it as dry matter. So, for example, on weekends when I'm home, we have bags and bags of it, and I just go there and throw them out into the trough 2-3 times a day, and they just feed on this. And I have had a lot of controversial things about this mango leaf, but I find I get very good results from it. Very, very good results. There was once I was feeding just mango leaf for about 3 or 4 or 5 straight I didn't give them any bag food or anything. We were actually short on forages. I didn't have any more hay. And we found that about 2 or 3 of the goats, the urine became very, very red. And I don't know why. I thought maybe the vitamins is so high in this, the minerals and so forth, that it changed the urine color to red. And I just stopped them, just cut it off for a little bit, and then I just went back again, and it was fine. So what I wanted to say is that when you're doing the goat production, you need to pay attention to the feces and the urine that is coming out at all times, because it tells a lot about the animals. So you can come and have a look at the farm. Rowan. Okay. So this dog is here, just go that way. Yes, just hold on to the ladder when you're going up. Yeah.
There's a lot of farmers that are actually using dogs as their security.
Right. So I've had this goat facility for maybe 15, 20 years. It's been here. So originally we started out with the board slatted floor like this. So this is a part of my old pen. And then little by little I'm going towards the plastic slatted floor because it is so much. And as I go along over the years, we improve. Most of what I do here, we use scrap iron, like the zincs are old zinc. You'll see many different kind of zinc up here. I just recently reared the roof on this. And this mesh is something that I brought in 2 years ago. So I started to use this as the partition and the feeding trough and so forth. But so you can come inside. One of the things is we have the automatic waterers, and the troughs are here. I have separate. I use baking soda and I have minerals to cut back on the bloating. And like these are some of the young kids. So this is basically what I do. So in these animals. I wanted the radar officer also to see. So I have this little thing up here. Sometimes we put the hay up here, and we do different things. So this was really my old pen that you see here. And then as we go along, it was just small, and then we expanded it and go right across. Now in this we have imported animals. Like over here I have some Sani. We have some Nubians that we imported, and they are over that side too. And this is where it is at now. Sheep. Yes, I have sheep here. So in the past I had over 400 animals. I used to have about 110 sheep and about 300 and something goats that I used to rear on this company. Not just right here. Not a bit over on the other side. Right now, I'm shipping back black belly because they are so tough. The black belly breed of sheep, here type sheep. They are very low maintenance. These are crossbreeds of black bellies that I have here. Many different things.
Yeah.
So this is what I try. So I try to keep my numbers somewhere here, and I try to sell them out.
These are all males.
Yeah, those are the males. Most of those I'm going to be selling them. Right. So in this I have purebred males. I have Nubians from the imported. Some crossbreed. Different things are here on this side of the farm. So one of the things I wanted to show you now, something that I felt very good about when I did it, was that veranda, that horning. I put up this horning on this side, and that was when the hurricane and all of that was coming, and the water kept blowing in and wetting up the pen. And what I did, this is built, if you see how I built it, I'll just show you so you don't get So what I did, it's built under the shed. So the heat of the sun don't get it hot. So the heat, you feel how cool up here is. So when the rain blows in, it hits this and then run down. And we do it right, but it also have the ventilation up top. If you look, that space in the top there's ventilation. So when the breeze blows, it hits this zinc and it runs in, and it keeps inside here very cool. I noticed a significant difference in the heat inside the pen from I did that. It made a big difference. And in here don't get wet anymore when we have heavy rains. So this went through barrel and the pen did not get wet because of this honing that we put in. So, sanding. I've never worked with sanding before, but I've brought them here for the first time, and we have them here, I think probably about 6 months now. What is it that I like about them? They eat a lot. And they'll eat anything you give them. They are just like the native goats. They are
I only hope that they are converting also.
Yes, I think they are because they produce that whole heap of milk. But you know what they also do? They also drink a lot of water. They drink a lot more water than our regular goats. That's what I find with them. And they breed very heavy. They have a higher breed.
Per minute.
Yes, they breed very heavy.
Per minute.
Right, they breed very heavy. They are very they eat everything you give them, they eat it. They don't refuse. They're almost like sheep. They remind me of sheep.
So what is it that you're actually targeting when you actually bring in these? Is
All
it
right.
milk production?
So that's what I want my wife to get involved in the milk side of things, right? So I'm kind of fooling around and messing around and seeing, different things that's happening. So maybe not even today, but in the future, that's what we would want to do. We want to figure out, the milk production. I have a female in here. She came down pregnant, and she has not stopped producing milk. She just keep producing, and we try and stop her from producing milk, and you can't stop her. She just keep going. We use that, dry her off, and it doesn't work. And she just keep producing milk.
And you use it today one.
We have done it. I think they did it when she was at Case. I don't even know where she is. She have a big order. I think she even had mastitis in her breast, and she's kind of old. And it has not. She just keep producing the milk. So it is a fact that they really do produce a lot of milk. And it's not every single one, I think, produce a lot of milk.
But what I like with what I'm seeing with them, they still have a good body structure.
Yes,
so
they are
they
big.
will still have meat.
Yes.
So-
So it would be a good dual purpose.
Yes.
Right. The problem with the sun is that people told me in the olden days when they brought them here, they don't do well in the sun. They get like cancer or some kind of skin problems in the sun. But we are rearing a lot of goats in intensive situations, so I don't see anything wrong with it. And the rams, they have another thing with them in residential area, because a lot of our farms are in residential areas too, and they don't make a lot of noise. They are very quiet. They are much more quieter than say maybe Nubians or Boer. They are very quiet animals.
So they are not that aggressive.
The rams are aggressive breeders, but they don't make a whole heap of noise like our native goat. They don't make the whole world know that something is going on. Very quiet, and that's what's something else that is different about them also. So I think it's a breed that will be very useful to Jamaica. That's what I think. And then some of these buck in here, I used to have a purebred Alpine, so I have some Alpine in the mix of all of
The thing about those, you have them at least a year now.
Yeah.
Have they reproduced?
Yeah, man. I have kids here.
Pure rum.
Pure ram though. I think I have one female.
One female.
But you know something? They are supposed to be kidding at some time now, I think, some of them. But I don't know if all of them has been bred. And so we're waiting to see. I don't know enough yet to comment on the breeding side of it. That's what I would say.
Yeah, because probably our condition might change.
Right. And they're going to need time to adapt.
Yeah.
Because you feel
Look
the
at
breeze
that
coming over
horn.
here,
Pretty.
that never used to happen before.
I forget a hold of it, but
Yeah, all of this is from is that barn here.
So is it that those were beyond?
Yeah, I did. Listen, there's another strange thing about them. It's usually I deal on at about 4 weeks, 6 weeks, with the Nubian or whatever, when I get the time, right? But with these, they say with Sani, you deal on at 2 weeks. And when I deal on at 4 weeks and all of that, it don't work very well. You can see one of them here.
Yeah, I see above there.
Yeah, that don't look alright? Yes. They say that you dehorn them different from regular goats. That's what I'm told. So I'm learning. Usually I stop up on here when I don't have feed I always have hay here and so forth. And I always just try to make sure they have hay on the herd and so forth. That we feed. But the white, yeah, is
Baking soda.
baking soda, yeah. So I have baking soda in the troughs and mineral. So this is mineral. And this white one here is baking soda. And basically the baking soda is if they get bloat or right. The baking soda stop the bloat. They have you don't have bloat problem when you have baking soda. Even if they overeat badly or overeat on grains or anything, we don't have bloating problem once the baking soda is there.
What do you think about that? Most of the places they are here, but they still have buckets.
I have no issue with it because I have never had one break out. You don't see what I do. I put a piece of iron right here. So they can't book it.
But are you saying that it don't adequate water?
No, my one coming from gravity feed. Because what I do, I have 2 tanks. One tank, the main supply go to that tank up there. And then from that tank, it goes to a secondary tank. And then from the secondary tank, it gravity feeds to the water feeders. So if I decide I don't want to add minerals or anything, any medication or anything, I can add it to that tank. That smaller tank. To the barrel, right. So it's all, so it's pressure fed to that tank, pressure water goes to the big tank, and then it gravity feeds to this tank, and then it gravity feeds to all the water everywhere. So I
have
don't
no more
have
teeth,
any
you
problem.
know?
What probably means to them breaking
That-
out?
Yes, it is.
No more teeth.
Yeah, these are all the old girls. And they still breed and having young ones and still continue. I don't really cull them. I usually just leave them and let them live out their life. So these are more the Anglo-Nubian. People talk about Anglo-Nubian. Those are Anglo-Nubians. They are very beautiful kids all the while. So even under there, I see they have the baking soda and all of that under there. So basically, that is it. In the past, we used to get a whole heap of feed. Now it's not the same. Not as much as before.
And we know why that is.
Yeah, means part of the problem. But I tell everybody what to do, and then they follow. First time I used to
You have a higher demand, so the supply.
supply, right? Because I used to send downtown, for example, to the market, and we would just come up back with 1 van load of forages to feed the animal. You know what we used to do? We used to just go halfway tree. And when we used to go halfway tree, we just got to all the fruit vendors that are selling. And we used to get melon skin, pineapple skin, orange skin, all the different skins. And we used to just drive like about 9 o'clock in the morning. We just drive around and collect it and come back here. Sometimes we get half a van of peeling, or sometimes a couple bags. Sometimes we give some of the vendors like a feeding bag, and they just full it, and we just carry it and feed out to the animals. So we used to do a lot of those things. But we tell everybody all of these things because, in my opinion, I think there is a large amount of goat farmers in the Kingston and St. Andrew area. I mean, when you go up like up past us or Barbican or you go anywhere now, you see people walking with goats. Hold on to the thing and walking. Everybody in the metropolitan area now, a lot of people. I don't know, you are there.
Yes, man. So
Lot of people.
it is amazing to see some of these farmers and
Yes.
where they are sometimes.
And where they're located.
Because persons tend to say that there's not much production in Kingston.
In Kingston,
and St. Andrew, but
not true.
Not true at all.
Not true. Kingston and St. Andrew produces a lot of food for the society. That's a fact.